Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston undoubtedly have two of the most beautiful voices we've ever heard, but it seems like things between them aren't so beautiful. Let's take a look at what happened between Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston. Weird tension between Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston. Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston are both musical icons of their time, and their unmatched voices are definitely music to anyone's ears. However, it seems like things are a little tense between the two of them, and according to Mariah Carey, there was a lot of weird tension between her and Whitney Houston. When asked about what her relationship with Whitney Houston looks like, Mariah Carey said that Whitney Houston is definitely a source of inspiration to many people, and she's definitely a musical legend. However, she mentioned nothing about Whitney Houston being her source of inspiration. While Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston are two separate and equally talented individuals, it seems like they were forced to merge at some point when Mariah Carey was forced to work with Whitney Houston's directors and producers. According to Mariah Carey, this led to some kind of tension and awkwardness between the two of them, and there might have been a chance that Whitney Houston probably saw this as Mariah Carey trying to steal her team. But before we get into more details regarding what happened between Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston, if you're liking our content so far, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you also subscribe to our channel and turn on the notifications button so you can be notified every time we post a new video, and also stay updated about your favorite celebrities and what goes on in their lives. Meeting each other for the first time. According to Mariah Carey, even though there was a lot of unsaid tension and awkwardness between her and Whitney Houston, once the two finally met each other, all of that tension and awkwardness had died down. According to Mariah Carey, the time she spent with Whitney Houston was phenomenal, and only after spending a small amount of time with each other, the two started missing each other. Mariah Carey also added that Whitney Houston was an amazing person, and she definitely became a source of inspiration for her. Well, we have to admit that it makes a lot of sense for Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston to get along with each other, considering how similar they are. We can only imagine the kind of vocal powerhouse the two could have been if they had the opportunity to perform together for a very long time. Like all of us, Mariah Carey misses Whitney Houston and believes that she's in a much better place because she was truly an amazing and kind person who deserved nothing but good things in life. How does Whitney Houston feel about being compared to Mariah Carey? When asked about how Whitney Houston feels every time people compare her to Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston said she needed a minute to gather her thoughts. In response to the question, Whitney Houston said that Mariah Carey is a great singer with an amazing voice, and that she should be seen as Mariah Carey and not as someone who's compared to her. According to Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey is talented enough to be treated as an individual and not to be reduced to someone who's like Whitney Houston. According to Whitney Houston, she doesn't see the similarity between her and Mariah Carey. However, Whitney Houston did comment that she and Mariah Carey do have some pretty similar tones, which is probably why people often compare them to each other, but it shouldn't be the case. Well, it seems like Whitney Houston did make it pretty clear that she sounds nothing like Mariah Carey, and neither does Mariah Carey sound anything like her. Well, we have to agree with Whitney Houston that they're both equally talented individuals who have their own voices and don't copy each other. Dueling divas. Despite Whitney Houston respecting Mariah Carey as a singer, there have been tons of rumors circulating about how Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston are two dueling divas. Well, we certainly have to agree that Whitney Houston has made it clear that she doesn't see Mariah Carey as competition and doesn't like being compared to her in any way. In a Dutch interview, Whitney Houston even said that she doesn't think about Mariah Carey at all, but in a musical sense, she thinks that Mariah Carey is a good singer. The duo finally worked together on a project which did put an end to all the rumors that were circulating about Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey's resentment towards each other. Whitney Houston herself said that the two get along really well and even go together pretty well in music. The song When You Believe by Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston was definitely a dream duet, and we couldn't think of a more perfect song for these two. Everyone was thinking in their heads that Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey wouldn't get along, and that the dream duet would turn into a massive argument, since the two most iconic people from pop culture were being together. However, it seems like Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston successfully put everyone to silence by working on the song together in the most amicable manner, and even after the song was completed, the two had nothing but nice things to say about each other. The song was featured on Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston's albums, and the two even worked together on the music video.